What is up, everyone on YouTube? This is Shane, the Rising Grand Picker, and how is your day or night going? And today I'm trying to go to some stores to pick up some retail arbitrage items. I got a tip from one of my friends, and I'm not going to say who, I'm not going to say what the item is. I am not saying anything. But other than that, I'm just going to travel, and I figured I'd take you guys along with me for a little bit and maybe chat, talk a little bit about business and see how the day is going to go. So, but yeah, so I'm going to talk a little bit about retail arbitrage, and I'm a little bit newer to retail arbitrage, but from my understanding, and let's back up for a second, okay? My name is Shane, the Rising Grand Picker, and what I'm going to tell you is what I do is I sell online on eBay. I'm getting back into Amazon probably by the first of next month, into this month. I got my KDC scanner ordered, and so yeah, I like to go to garage sales, estate sales, flea markets, auctions, do retail arbitrage, and buy from buy now, sell, trade pages, or local trade, or buy, sell, trade pages, and flip those items on eBay and other online platforms. So what I'm going to tell you is, I just want to talk about retail arbitrage for a little bit. And people really misinterpret retail arbitrage. I know when I first started reselling, I really misinterpreted the term retail arbitrage a lot because I didn't really know exactly what it was. You know, I knew it was like, okay, it's at a store, it's a retail store you go to and buy stuff. It's only clearance items, and that's not exactly true, okay? So retail arbitrage, you can do retail arbitrage on clearance items, items that are like discontinued, or items that are like a one-shotter, what I call a one-shotter. Like the video I have, I'll link it either here or there. One of these corners, I will link this video. It is my Dollar Tree retail arbitrage video where I sourced a bunch of power strips. They were Globe Energy power strips. They were very, like, it was a one-shot deal with Dollar Tree. They got them in, and they were going to sell them. And I think what had happened is maybe that company had a very large overage in the Globe Energy power strips. So Dollar Tree did a deal with them where maybe they like bought some to sell, and it was only a one-time deal. So with that being said, that was a one-time deal, and to be honest, I still have them. I mean, it's been some months, but the awesome thing is I have a couple that sell every couple weeks. So that's $14.95 and $14.95, and you know, it's like $20 to $30 every couple weeks that just comes in sales. And I haven't had a return on any of them yet. I've sold through probably about half, and all I've had is great positive feedback with them, so knock on wood. But anyways, that's a good thing, right? And it was a good product, and I actually kept one for myself, and actually I kept three for myself. Use one in my eBay office right now, and then we have a couple that we actually kept, and we just use throughout our house because they're really, and what makes them unique is I think there's like a USB cable where you can plug a USB in, as well as they're like an energy saving power strip. So there's like a main power strip where you could plug something into, and then you could actually set up a timer so the other half of the power strip would cycle off, and they're built on like separate circuits, so you could do that. And honestly, it was like a really high-end thing that Dollar Tree got in. And you know, the funny thing is how I found that was my wife actually said, "Look at these power strips, they're really cool." And I'm like, scan one on eBay. And at that time, there was a couple on there for like $25 a piece. They just weren't selling. And I'm like, you know what? There was a couple that sold for like $14, and the only active listings were for $25. And I'm like, buy a couple and bring them home. And as soon as she did, the next day I went out and I actually bought an entire store out of them. I bought like 3 flats of them, and then I went back to it the next day because I had one more. And when I went to buy it, they said, "Oh, sorry, we have a limit." So I had to have her buy them. So, you know, sometimes it's tricky with retail arbitrage, and that's what you got to kind of look into. But what I mean by that is, you know, I found a product, and even though it's a Dollar Tree, you don't know, like, these retail stores do separate deals or different deals than other places. So you just don't know what you're going to find. Like, you have to keep an open mind. So once in a while, since I found those power strips, I will go into Dollar Tree and I'll just look around for a little bit and look for anything out of the ordinary. My wife spends a ton of time at Dollar Tree, so I will just go in there and look for anything out of the ordinary. And I'm like, I've never seen that product before, and I'll scan it to eBay. To eBay mainly, but I mean, I'm going to start selling on Amazon. I'm going to start actually doing Amazon FBA. I used to dabble in Merch Fulfilled, and I was pretty, you know, I wasn't like super uber successful in Merch Fulfilled, but I made money, and I didn't fail at it. So I didn't really like Merch Fulfilled because it was a pretty big pain. And I'm just like, you know what? Merch Fulfilled leaves a lot of room for error to get your account suspended by Amazon. So I quit doing Merch Fulfilled, and probably fairly recently too. I only had a couple more items on like last month, and I just pulled them off. So I'm gonna start doing FBA, and I'm just gonna jump in and do it. And I ordered my scanner. It's a KDC 200. I ordered that, so it should be here like, I don't know, probably by Wednesday. And I'm planning on, as soon as it gets here, that day I will set my pro account for Amazon backup. Because I still have my Amazon selling account. I just don't have the pro account. But I'll set the pro account back up. And then I'll probably end up getting a couple more subscriptions to some tools I'm going to use. And that I want to use. And one of them is Scout IQ. And I'm gonna set a subscription up to that, because I think that it would be a good program to use for Amazon. So I'm gonna try it, and if I don't like it, I'll switch to a different program that I want to use better for my scanner. But I'm gonna use Scout IQ at first. I'm just gonna try it out and see how it is. So other than that, you know, the thing is when you're doing retail arbitrage, I've actually, you know what, when I first started selling online, I didn't do any eBay, or any eBay. I did eBay, but I didn't do any retail arbitrage. I just didn't do it. And I'm like, you know what? I just had a really closed mind. I'm like, there's no money in that. I'm just not going to do it. You know, it just sounds so absurd how all these retail stores will leave money on the table. But then I learned it's not just clearance stuff. It's other stuff too. Stuff that maybe there's a vacuum cleaner that they made, and maybe it's a Dyson. Maybe it's a Dyson animal. And this is just an example. This is not real. So don't go out looking for Dyson animals and buying up all that you can. This is just an example. Maybe, let's say there's a version of a Dyson animal that came out in Walmart, and it was completely discontinued. And you buy it, and you can sell for double the money that the retail price actually sold for, because people really like Dyson animals. I don't know. I mean, that's part of retail arbitrage. The other part's clearance, and you can go and look and scan clearance aisles. And now I can use Scout IQ when I get my scanner, instead of actually looking it up. So this is what I used to do when I merch fulfilled stuff, was I would actually scan items on the eBay or the Amazon. So I would actually scan items on the Amazon seller app, and then I would paste the link over on the website, camel, and then I would look at the sales rank and see how many times it's sold in the last month versus the last 6 months. Because every time you have that little graph on camel, and every time it goes up, that's a sale, and when it goes down, it's the sale coming down, and it's the rank going way up. And then when there's another sale, that's another sale. So when it goes up again, that's another sale, and then the rank goes down. And you can see all that on camel. It's a little graph. And I used to paste it over there. Well, it would take me like 10 minutes just to look up one item. So at that time, I just was like, you know what? I never had been like really fond of Amazon. And then I just, you know, I kind of got pushed over the edge. And I'm like, you know, I hate my job. I don't want to do this anymore. I need to take a leap, and I need to take a leap of faith, and I need to just do it, and I did, and that's what I'm doing now. This stuff I'm picking up now. I'm not going to sell on Amazon. It's going to go eBay. I'm going to sell on eBay, but I would say probably I should be up and running on everything that I want to do for Amazon by next week. And I have GoDaddy bookkeeping, so I'm just going to link my Amazon account to GoDaddy. If you do use GoDaddy, you have to have a pro account to link it. If you don't have a pro account, it won't let you link it to GoDaddy. So you got to have the pro account. I mean, you just got to have it, or it's not going to let you link it. But you know, that's my 2 cents on that. I mean, you really have to be smart, though. And what I mean by that is you can't just jump into Amazon feet first. I'm not going to lie to you. I dabbled in Merch Fulfilled, and I learned the system. I learned the Amazon system because I dabbled in Merch Fulfilled. And then I watched for a year, probably 6 months, every Amazon video I could find. And I learned about the policies. I read the policies. I looked online, read the policies. And that's what you got to do. You don't just want to jump in, because one wrong mistake on Amazon and they will freaking screw you. Like Scott the Bearded Picker says, they will hit you with a sledgehammer, and they will. I mean, I've heard stories. I've never been suspended, but I've also never sold FBA. I've only done Merch Fulfilled on a very low volume. So I had a lot less options to get in trouble or get suspended or anything like that. So, but what I'm saying is, you just got to be careful, and you got to learn the policies, and you got to learn the system. All right, so I'm at this first location. I'm going to go in and pick up this this item that I'm trying to source for Retail Arbitrage. I can't show it to you, so I do apologize. But I'll be back in a little bit, and we'll chat a little bit more about maybe, you know, the introduction to Retail Arbitrage for new Retail Arbitrage resellers. So I will catch you in a little bit. Alrighty, I'm back, and I got the item I was after. So now I'm on my way to 2 more stores. I got to hit 1 more store, and then I got to drive another 30 minutes to hit another one. This is about 20 minutes away. So as soon as I hit this one, I got to drive the opposite direction to hit another one about 25 minutes away, and then I'm heading home, and that'll give me pretty much all the items in my area. But I have 1 more store I could go to, but it's back north, so I'd have to go all the way back, you know, that way to that store. So, but anyways, at that point, you know, I'm just going to get what's in my area, and I don't know if I'm going to venture very far out unless there's a store that has like 500 of them, which that's not going to happen. So, but anyways, excuse me. So what I was saying is Retail Arbitrage. I'm still learning Retail Arbitrage. Like, it's still new to me, and I'm still learning. It's not something I picked up overnight. I mean, I had to really, really dig in and learn about it. What really helps me is I have a retail background of almost 9 years in retail management. I was district manager for almost a year until I got recruited by another company. And what I can tell you, and I got my Oakleys in too, by the way. They're the Oakley gas can multicam. Just got them in like out of last week. So what I can tell you is that one of the things that's going to help you in Retail Arbitrage is being sure that you know the price rotations in retail stores. Now, what I can tell you about that is it's how they price items. And it's how they go through the stores and price items. Now, I can tell you right now, that Target prices their items different than any other retail store. And it's so sporadic, you cannot get the price rotation down. You can't learn it. There's no learning it. I know this because I worked for Target for about 2 years, and I know the price rotations. And what happens is on their clearance, if a Target store is going through construction or renovations, or they're revamping it, which means they're just doing upgrades to it, there's a lot of items that will go clearance very fast and very cheap. So that's one thing to look out for, is if there's a Target store in your area that is doing really big modifications to the inside and revamping the store, that means that they're going to have a lot of clearance stuff, and they're going to lower it very, very quickly. It's really up to the store manager how fast they lower it, to be honest with you. Target's one of those companies that is very unusual. They have a price team. So they have a price reduction team that goes around, and that's all they do is pricing. And what I can tell you is that, keep in mind, I can tell you this information. I signed no non-disclosure agreements. I signed nothing. So this information is not privileged. It's not privileged within me. So I can actually tell you. So they have this pricing team, and if the pricing team, most of the clearance, Target's changing to where they're putting it on certain end caps, and they're not putting it on every end cap. So they only want it. They want it very contained. They don't want it everywhere. Most of the time, the clearance stuff is not allowed on front end caps, so they only can put it on back end caps. So if you're looking for clearance stuff, look on the back end caps, unless you just hit one of those busy weekends where they have it on the front, then that might be a possibility. But look on the back end caps. So the pricing team will move throughout the store, and if stuff isn't selling, that's when they usually, the first price change for the clearance is 30% off. And this is a normal clearance kind of thing. It's 30% off the first round, around there, 20 to 30% off. Now, if the stuff still isn't selling, then the pricing team, if they're in the area, if they happen to be in the area that day, they will hit it with like a 50% off, and then a 70% off, and it's just over and over and over and over. And they're supposed to rotate throughout the store, but there's no set schedule. So it's really whenever they're in the area, or whenever, you know, that may be. Hey everybody, it's the next day, and I successfully got all my items that I was going to retail arbitrage at all the stores, and I'm just listing and doing some listing right now. I kind of ended, this is going to be like an edited video, and I kind of ended the second segment of talking about Target and how they price their stuff. And I think I ended with that they have a pricing team that goes around, and if they're in the area that day, it happened to be an area and the stuff is not selling, then they price it. So how that works is that pricing team has complete control with the store manager. They have complete control on pricing those items. So when they have that little zebra device, they can take that zebra device and scan something and then reprice it down on the clearance. So they take that scanning device, they will scan an item, and it goes boop, and then they actually print what's called a reticket form, and they reticket that device at a lower price. And that causes the markdown for the clearance. So that's how they actually do that, is they scan it on there. It's subject to their device. Like it gives a threshold, but you can go as low as, like, I think 70 to 80% off without approval. So really, that's why you see Target clearance. That's why, like, it'll be very wishy-washy some of the time. Sometimes it'll be good, is because every store is different, because it's all how the store manager kind of collaborates with the pricing team and what the direction's given. So as you can tell, like, that's going to be hard for retail arbitrage. You just got to check stores. You got to check the back end caps on the aisles, because all the clearance is on the back end caps. They don't put it on the front unless they forget, or it's a busy weekend, then they'll leave it on the front end caps. But that is how they do it. And so I'm going to go into more on this. I think my next video is going to be a retail arbitrage, where I'm going to take you in live with me to probably a Target, and I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. So stay tuned, and I appreciate you watching. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell notification to get those notifications when I go live and when I put out a new video. And thanks for the support, and I will see you all in the next video.